Lily, Mom said, handing me an emerald bracelet. This has been in the family since your grandmother's time. It's supposed to be incredibly precious and rare. Take it for your wedding. With this as part of what you bring to the marriage, your in-laws will definitely respect you. The moment she handed it to me, I knew I had been reborn. The memory of my past life, watching my parents let someone forcibly inject me, euthanize me, the overwhelming pain and helplessness felt so real. It was like I was right back there. I almost lost control and threw the bracelet in her face. But this time, I wouldn't let them off so easily. I was going to make them taste that same pain. Mom, this is too valuable. I can't take it. What kind of marriage would it be without a decent family contribution? When you're living with his family, having valuable things gives you a voice. Your mother-in-law will have to watch what she says around you and take you seriously. Mom, I already bought a house for us. Having a whole house to start with means his family won't look down on me. Trust me, no one ever complains about having too much, my mom said, looking at me earnestly. Just listen to me, you won't regret it. I'm your mother. Would I ever try to hurt you? Seeing me still hesitate, she added, what are you spacing out for? Hurry up, take it and try it on for me. To put her at ease and stop her from trying any other twisted schemes to torture me, I pretended to be delighted, taking the bracelet. I turned it over and over in my hands, admiring it from every angle, acting thrilled. Thanks, Mom. Lily, hurry and try it on. This bracelet will look stunning with your delicate, long fingers. You should wear it every day from now on. Wear it every day. Right. Fine, I'll make sure your wish comes true. My sister, Mom, and Dad are not my biological family. I'm their adopted daughter. After they got married, my parents tried for a baby for years with no luck. Following some old-timers' advice, they adopted me from an orphanage. 6 months later, my mom got pregnant and gave birth to my sister. Thankfully, even after my sister was born, my parents still treated me like their own and never deprived me of anything. Once I became an adult, I did everything I could to provide them with a better life and more financial security. I just never imagined that they would turn me into a monster just so my sister could have a pair of delicate, perfect hands, and then finally euthanize me. I know I'm not their biological child, but what did I do to deserve that? Just then my sister, Stella, pushed the door open. Her eyes lit up when she saw the emerald bracelet in my hand. Wow, sis, that bracelet looks so exquisite. It would look amazing on your hands. Not like on mine, Stella's voice trailed off. I glanced at my sister's hands, then at my mother's. It was just genetics, you can't pick and choose. My sister was devastatingly beautiful, but her fingers were short and thick. A cat's paws were longer than her fingers. It was kind of cute when she was little, but as she grew up, it became her biggest insecurity. To make her fingers longer, she tried everything, even an extreme bone-breaking surgery. But nothing worked. And me? I was plain looking, but I was blessed with extraordinary hands, as delicate and long as willow branches, fair and slender. So, naturally, I was the perfect target right under their noses. My parents, seeing her misery, sought out some mystic who ended up using black magic to transfer my fingers to her. My mother said thoughtfully, Stella, your fingers will become just like your sister's, long, slender, fair, and as beautiful as jade. My sister's lips curved into a smile, and her bright, clear eyes looked at me with satisfaction. As my mom finished speaking, she tried to put the bracelet on my wrist. I quickly clenched my fist around it and said, Mom, I'll put it on later. I have to run to the office for something urgent. With that, I grabbed the bracelet and left. The moment the door closed behind me, I heard their excited voices. This is great, Mom. My hands are finally going to be beautiful. No one will ever make fun of how short and stumpy they are again. That loser's face is so ugly. Why does she deserve such beautiful hands? Mom, you and Dad should never have adopted her from that orphanage. Every time I see her hands, I get so depressed I could just die. If it weren't for her, my friends wouldn't always be laughing at my hands. Sweetheart, if we hadn't adopted her, we might not have been able to have a beautiful daughter like you. Besides, where else would we find such perfect hands for you now? She still has her use. We'll kick her out once she's served her purpose. Then my dad's voice joined in. Here's to my baby Stella. May all your wishes come true. Soon you'll have a pair of perfect, delicate hands. My sister never hid her hostility towards me. I knew she hated my guts. And my parents, so eager to help their own precious child, completely broke my heart. I clenched my fists and let out a cold laugh. I drove to an aquarium that sold marine animals. As long as the species wasn't endangered, you could buy it. If you didn't want to take it home, you could pay a monthly fee to have them care for it at the aquarium. I immediately paid up and bought an octopus with the longest tentacles. I fastened the bracelet onto one of its tentacles and instructed the staff to take good care of it for me. I figured hands this long and slick would surely satisfy my sister's desires. To keep my family from getting suspicious, I had a replica of the bracelet custom made and wore it on my wrist. For the next few days, whenever I had free time, I'd go to the aquarium to check on the octopus I was boarding there. Seeing the bracelet perfectly intact on its tentacle gave me a strange sense of peace. That weekend, the whole family went camping. I noticed my sister's hands had grown longer, by a good 2 inches. I feigned surprise. "Stella, your hands. They seem longer, and so much prettier. You're really blossoming. A beautiful face and beautiful hands, I'm so jealous." My sister stared at her hands, smiling smugly. Just then my fiancé, Kevin, showed up, shamelessly tracking us down. I had tried to break up with him shortly after my rebirth, but he kept pestering me every few days, which was incredibly annoying. "Kevin, what are you doing here?" my mom asked. He dropped to his knees right in front of me. "Lily, please don't break up with me." Then he turned to my mom, tears streaming down his face. "Auntie, please help me convince Lily. Don't let her leave me. I can't live without her." "Right, you can't live without me because I've been supporting your sorry ass." My mom shot me a look. "What's going on?" I said flatly, "I'm bored of him." My mom quickly helped Kevin up and pulled a chair over for him. "You kids, can't you talk things out sitting down? Why all the kneeling?" Kevin sobbed, "Lily, don't break up with me. I need you." He then turned and hugged my dad. "Uncle, please talk to her for me. She'll listen to you." While my parents were busy comforting him, my sister looked at Kevin, then back at me confused. "Who's this?" she asked. My mom replied, "Your brother-in-law." I could see the shock in my sister's eyes, as if to say, what a waste of a handsome face on such a loser. And she was right, I was the loser. It was only then that Kevin noticed my sister sitting nearby. He stopped crying, and his eyes lit up as he looked at Stella. I'd never seen him look at me like that. He moved his chair next to hers. "You must be Stella. Your sister always said you were drop-dead gorgeous, and seeing you today, I know she wasn't exaggerating. What lucky man will get to marry you?" Kevin's compliments sent my sister over the moon. Who wouldn't be thrilled to be praised by someone so handsome? My parents looked on, beaming with pride. I heard my mom whisper to my dad, "You know, someone with Kevin's looks would be a great match for our Stella. If they're going to break up anyway, why not get Kevin and Stella together?" My dad whispered back, "I have no problem with that. The only question is if Stella likes him." I was so busy listening to my parents that by the time I looked back, Kevin and Stella had already left their seats and were off admiring the flowers together. That jerk had completely forgotten he was here to beg me not to break up with him. He was busy scanning Stella's WhatsApp QR code. "Seriously, Kevin? I haven't even turned into a monster in this life, and you're already drooling over my sister. Just a minute ago you were on your knees begging me to stay, and now you can't take your eyes off her." His infatuated look was disgusting. Seeing my fiancé shower her with compliments, Stella was so happy she looked ready to do a little dance. She shot me a look of contempt and resentment, as if to say, "What right does a nobody like you have to a fiancé this handsome?" "Oh, bro-in-law, you shouldn't praise me so much," she said sweetly. "My sister is so plain she'll get angry." "Why would she be angry? I'm just telling the truth. And I'm complimenting her sister, not a stranger. If she gets mad about that, she's being way too petty. She doesn't deserve to be your sister." I almost laughed out loud. Could these two be any louder? The wind carried every single nasty word they said right to my ears. I walked over and slapped Kevin across the face. "Did you come here just to flatter my sister? You're a freeloading leech. What right do you have to call me petty?" Kevin's neck turned beet red, like he'd swallowed a pound of hot peppers. "Ah!" my sister shrieked, clearly shocked by my actions. Sis, he was just giving me a compliment. Why did you hit him? She then leaned in, gently touching Kevin's red, swollen cheek. Your face is so handsome. How could my sister be so rough? Does it hurt, sweetie? Let me blow on it for you. Kevin looked at Stella tenderly. I'm fine, sweetie. Did I scare you? He then turned to me, his face full of malice. Are you insane? You're ugly and you have a horrible temper. Who besides me would ever want you? Kevin, in my last life, I put up with all your crap. This time, I'm done waiting on you. Oh, then don't trouble yourself. Let's just go our separate ways. We're breaking up. With that, I turned and walked away without looking back. My sister's fingers grew longer by the day. In less than a month and a half, they looked like normal fingers. My parents were ecstatic. They didn't just brag about how beautiful my sister was anymore, they bragged about her perfect hands too. But my sister still wasn't happy, especially when she saw me. Her unhappiness was palpable. One night, I was tossing and turning, unable to sleep. I decided to go to the kitchen for a snack. As I passed my sister's room, the door was ajar, and I heard her crying inside. Why are that loser's hands still perfectly fine? Didn't you say she'd switch hands with me after she wore the bracelet? Why haven't her hands gotten short and stumpy yet? I don't care, Mom, Dad, you have to do something. Make her hands ugly. Let her feel the pain of being ridiculed. My dad chimed in, yeah, how can this be? It's been so long, and her fingers haven't changed at all. Did that mystic lie to us? My mom was silent for a moment. Don't panic. The mystic wouldn't lie to us. Look, Stella's fingers have gotten longer, which means it's working. Let's just wait a little longer. If nothing changes soon, I'll chop off her hands and make soup for you. We took her in from the orphanage and raised her for so long. This is the least she can do. Hearing that sent a chill down my spine. I was the one earning the money to support this family, giving them a comfortable life, and they wanted my fingers. And what's worse, my sister's fingers were already normal, but she still wasn't satisfied. I never thought they could be so vicious. Every part of my body was a gift from my biological mother. Their whole family had short, stubby fingers. What did that have to do with me? It was genetics, not something I could control. Why should I have to bear my sister's pain? And what about my pain? I was plain looking and constantly compared to my sister, called an ugly duckling. Who was there to bear that for me? My dad exclaimed, my God, honey, you can't do that. We still depend on her to support us. My mom said dismissively, once our Stella's hands are delicate and long, she can be a world-class hand model. By then, she'll be useless to us anyway. Besides, you can't raise someone else's kid. I've always known that. My Stella is my priority. As long as she's happy, I'll do anything. And if we hadn't been kind enough to adopt her, she wouldn't have even had food to eat. After raising her for so long, it's time for her to contribute to this family. My sister said happily, Mom, Dad, you're the best. I'll definitely make tons of money and become famous, so you can live a life of luxury. I was so shocked I could barely stand. I leaned against the wall and stumbled back to my room, locking the door behind me. It was clear I couldn't stay in this house any longer. They didn't just want my hands, they wanted my life. I left without saying a word and went straight to the house I'd bought. Thankfully, I had always been a good student and won scholarships. I also worked part-time throughout college, so I'd saved up a good amount of money over the years. I had bought this house a while ago, originally planning to live in it with Kevin after we got married. Now it looked like it was just for me. But early the next morning, my mom called when she saw I wasn't home. She demanded to know why I had moved into the house. I couldn't exactly tell her I was trying to save my own life. When I didn't answer, she continued, you need to move out. Stella and Kevin are getting married next month, and they need to move in. It's not appropriate for you to be living there. People will talk. They're getting married? She must have thought I'd be upset. My mom explained, those two are in love and begged me for my blessing. I couldn't say no. Lily, you need to look forward. There are plenty of other opportunities out there. Well then, congratulations to them. The second I said that, my mom shot back, you're the older sister, so you need to act like one. I'm not asking you to pay for your sister's wedding, but you should just give her the house as a wedding present. You can move back in with me and your dad. That way, we can all take care of each other. Otherwise, if you get sick all alone, there'll be no one to even know. Mom, I've given a lot to this family over the years. Even if I haven't earned any credit, I've put in the work. Besides, I bought this house with my own money. I have the right to decide what to do with it. I don't need you to make that decision for me. My words made her explode. Listen to yourself. Is that any way to talk? If we hadn't adopted you and given you a good life, would you have been able to earn money and buy a house? You're so selfish. You won't even help your sister out. You're just an ungrateful stray we took in. You need to transfer the house to your sister's name. And give me all your assets for safekeeping, so no one with bad intentions can get their hands on your money. Oh, and you need to give your sister an extra $6,000 a month for living expenses. She's getting married to Kevin, and they won't be living at home anymore. Everything costs money. With a little extra cash, her in-laws won't look down on her. Trying to get something for nothing. What a beautiful daydream. Why should I work my ass off to buy a house just to hand it over? Kevin is a piece of trash I don't want anymore. I don't care. But the house isn't a scumbag, man. It won't betray me. Mom, Stella has a job. She can support herself. There's no way I'm giving her $6,000 a month. If you want to give her money, you can give her your own. And it's my house, which I bought myself. I don't want to give it to her. As her older sister, isn't it your duty to support your younger sister? Besides, you don't have a fiancé anymore. What's the point of you keeping the house? It's just a waste. You might as well give it to your sister as a wedding gift. Mom, stop guilt-tripping me. This is my house. I said no, and I mean no. You ungrateful thing. Your father and I brought you back from an orphanage, took care of you, and raised you. And this is how you treat us. You won't even grant this one small request to give the house to your sister? You're a real traitor. It seemed my mom wasn't going to let this go unless I transferred the house to my sister. An idea sparked. Mom, how about I give Stella the bracelet you gave me as a wedding present? I'll bring it over right now. It's not like I'm getting married anytime soon anyway. My mom panicked. No, that's not a good idea. The bracelet was a gift for you, it's yours. You can't just take back a gift. But it's just going to waste sitting with me. Stella's getting married next month. She could really use it. Don't you dare take it off. You have to wear that bracelet. It will keep you safe and sound, you understand? Okay. It looked like this emerald bracelet was destined for me and me alone. Just then, someone knocked on the door. I checked the security camera and saw my sister and Kevin standing outside, holding hands, looking very cozy. They kept knocking, clearly knowing I was inside. What were they doing here? I opened the door, annoyed. What do you want? My sister spoke first. My boyfriend and I are here to check out our new home. She then flashed the diamond ring on her hand in my face. The ring didn't catch my attention, but her fingers did. They seemed to have grown even longer. Your new home isn't here. Turn right when you leave. Have a nice walk and don't let the door hit you on the way out, I said, pushing them both out. How could these two be so shameless? Sis, Mom said this house is for me and Kevin to live in after the wedding. You want it? Then pay for it. The house is yours. Kevin pointed his finger at me. Lily, don't make this about money. That's so tacky. Stella is your sister. Her own sister won't even give her a house for her wedding? I rolled up my sleeves and stepped toward him. Who the hell do you think you are? Kevin stumbled backward. Stella stepped in front of him, her voice soft and whiny. Sis, Kevin and I are getting married next month. It wouldn't be right to keep living at home. You're not even getting married. Are you trying to fight me for this house because you're jealous? You're jealous because I'm prettier than you, and because my hands are getting more and more beautiful, so you're deliberately giving me a hard time. She really couldn't stop talking about how great her hands were getting. I said this house was bought with my own money. It didn't cost you a dime. What does it have to do with you? How is this me being jealous or giving you a hard time? My sister ducked behind Kevin, all soft and fragile. Honey, my sister is so mean. I'm so scared. Then she looked at me pitifully. Sis, I just want your blessing for me and Kevin. Kevin said, Lily, don't be ungrateful. This house was always meant for Stella. You'd better hand it over to us for our wedding, or you'll be sorry. Looking at their shameless faces, I almost rolled my eyes into the back of my head. Birds of a feather really do flock together. Fine. Since you can't afford to buy it and you want it so badly, I guess I could rent it to you. Rent is $6,000 a month, and I'll need a 6-month security deposit up front. Before I could even finish, that leech Kevin cut in. Lily, why are you always so materialistic? You ate Stella's family's food, used their things. You owe them. How dare you ask for money? You should be grateful we're not asking you for money. Yes, sis, Stella added. Mom and Dad adopted you from the orphanage and raised you. Shouldn't you show some gratitude? It's not like Kevin and I need your house forever. We just need a place to stay for a bit. I've already sent out my modeling portfolio. A modeling agency will be contacting me soon, and then I'll have an income. When I'm famous, I promise I won't forget you. These two parasites were a perfect match. The sound of their self-righteous keyboard warrior act was deafening. I looked at my sister's ever-lengthening fingers and said thoughtfully, "Your body proportions are a bit off. You might not be suited for modeling." My words hit a nerve. She pointed a finger at my nose and spat, "You ugly hag. What right do you have to judge me?" Seeing that I wouldn't give up the house, Kevin exploded. "Lily, it's because you're ugly and full of drama that you don't deserve my love. Kevin, you're a freeloader and a leech. What right do you have to talk to me about love?" Enraged, Kevin raised his hand to hit me. I was quicker. I slapped him with all my strength, sending him staggering, unable to stay on his feet. He grabbed my sister's hand to steady himself. Suddenly, my sister let out a piercing scream. Her hand had been ripped clean off by Kevin. Then, where it had been severed, a new hand immediately sprouted. But this new hand was long, thin, and slick. It looked just like an octopus tentacle. My sister was so terrified she nearly had a mental breakdown. She was rushed to the hospital. Doctors from every major hospital held an emergency conference, but couldn't diagnose the cause of her condition. What was even more difficult was that the hand was incredibly soft, with no bones. And it seemed that the longer time passed, her other fingers began to break off too, only to be replaced by new, long, thin, slick hands. To prevent the situation from worsening, the doctors ultimately decided to amputate. Of course, my sister was the first to refuse. She had been obsessed with her hands her whole life. She decided to just have the new hands cut off, hoping to return to normal. But half an hour after the surgery, the severed hands grew back, even longer, thinner, and slicker than before. Everyone was horrified. My sister's sobs were heart-wrenching. How could this happen? How am I supposed to face anyone now? My dad, heartbroken, was on the verge of tears. He kept blaming my mom. "Where did you get that thing? Look what you've done to our daughter." My mom muttered to herself, "It's all my fault, all my fault. I heard that Mystic was really powerful, that he never failed. I don't know why this happened." I hid outside the hospital room, laughing without a shred of sympathy. Just then a doctor came in. "We're still investigating the cause of the illness. There's no effective treatment at the moment. Do you want to remain in the hospital for observation, or would you prefer to go home?" My sister had completely fallen apart. My mom looked at my dad. "What should we do? You decide." My dad said, "Let's stay for observation. That way, if anything happens, we can get help right away." My mom agreed. Yes. Money isn't an issue. If we're short, we'll just get it from that loser. As long as our baby can be cured, that's all that matters. Sure enough, their target shifted back to me. Just then, my phone rang, right on cue. It was my mother's voice. "Lily, where are you? Your sister needs to stay in the hospital for observation for a while. Get over here and pay for it." My mother really knows how to delegate. "Mom, I don't have any money," I said into the phone. "What do you mean you don't have money? You've been working for so many years, with such a high salary. How can you have no money?" My mom's voice was trembling with agitation. I explained, "Ugh, the stock market's been terrible lately. All my money is tied up. I've given you guys a lot before. Why don't you use some of that for now? I don't care. Go borrow it if you have to. Just get the money now." "Mom, almost all the money I've earned over the years has gone to support the family. Don't you guys have any savings? Where are you? Get your ass over here right now." I dragged my feet to the hospital room. As soon as I opened the door, my dad slapped me across the face. You worthless thing. We never should have adopted you. Your sister is sick and you won't even chip in? This family's way of thinking is truly bizarre. I looked at them and said, "You're not willing to pay either, are you? Otherwise, you wouldn't be pressuring me. Besides, Kevin is here too. Why don't you ask him for money?" I turned to him. "Kevin, your fiancé is sick. Are you really going to let her give up treatment because there's no money?" Kevin's eyes widened in shock. "What does this have to do with me? We're not even married yet." With that, he slipped out the door. The family just stared at each other. My dad spoke, his voice pitiful. "Lily, you're my baby, and Stella is my baby too. I can't bear to see Stella like this and do nothing. But I just don't have the money. Can you see if you can get an advance on your salary from work?" I thought for a moment, then pointed to the bracelet on my wrist. "How about I sell this?" My parents immediately stopped me. "Absolutely not. This has been passed down from our ancestors. How could we face them if you sold it? Then I really don't know what to do. I've given you all my savings. My company is going through major layoffs, and they can barely make payroll. There's no way I can get an advance. You should use your own money to treat my sister. I'll work hard to earn more for you all. You can always earn more money, but if a person is gone, all the money in the world won't bring them back." My mom rushed at me, ready to hit me. "You ungrateful brat. We should have just let you fend for yourself. You and your smart mouth. Let me teach you a lesson." I stared at her coldly and raised my hand to block her slap. She lost her balance and fell to the floor. "I'm not paying. What are you going to do about it? You brat. You dare hit me? This is a rebellion." My sister slapped me. It felt soft and weak, like she had no strength. I guess that's what an octopus hand feels like. My dad helped my mom up, then slapped me twice. They looked like they wanted to kill me, to throw me into the sea to feed the fish. At that moment, I finally saw this family for who they really were. There was no need to get tangled up with them anymore. They were about to gang up on me when a nurse came in with medication. I seized the opportunity, sat down on the floor, and started wailing. "Mom, Dad, please stop hitting me. I've given you all my money. I really don't have any more. Please let me go. Don't tell me to go die." The nurse saw my swollen face and my hysterical crying, and said she would call the police if they didn't stop. Hearing the word police, they panicked. My mom quickly pulled me up from the floor. I kept crying, "Mom, Dad, please don't tell me to go die, okay? I've given you every penny I've earned all these years. I haven't kept a single cent for myself. I'm so tired of supporting this family, but I've never complained. I know you adopted me from an orphanage, and I should be grateful. I've always put you first, and no matter how unreasonable your demands were, I always gave in. But I'm really out of money. Even if you force me to die, I won't have any money." My crying attracted the attention of people from other rooms. They gathered at the door, looking in, and started scolding my parents for me. How shameless. Someone else's child isn't a child? Only your own child matters? That's disgusting. How can you still make demands like that? My parents were speechless, glaring at me with hatred, as if they wanted to crush me and swallow me whole. My sister looked at me with resentment. She reached out her right hand to grab a cup of water from the table, only to see that both her hands had turned into octopus tentacles. She was so scared she could only scream, "Ah, ah." My dad quickly called for a doctor. The doctor came in, looked at her, and just kept shaking his head. And so, after a few days, my sister was discharged from the hospital. On the day she left, she wore a long-sleeved shirt, her hands stuffed in her pockets, refusing to take them out. I thought she had to leave because they ran out of money, but it turned out the doctors had sent her home to wait for test results. After quitting her job, my sister stayed at home for a while. With nothing to do, she started live streaming. That face of hers was truly stunning. In less than half an hour, her stream shot to the top of the charts. Tons of rich fans sent her virtual rockets and gifts. From then on, whenever she streamed, hundreds of millions of people watched. This massive fanbase attracted the attention of several companies. They were eager to have my sister endorse their products and rushed to sign her for live streaming contracts. Seeing this, my mom threatened to kill herself to force me to quit my job and become my sister's dedicated hand person. Every time my sister promoted a product on her stream, I had to be there as her hand double, the kind that never shows her face. One day, a jewelry company, captivated by my sister's beauty, wanted to hire her to be the face of their new jewelry line. This was the same company where I had worked part-time as a hand model during college. The boss was a greasy man in his 50s who had a thing for pretty women. The only reason I was able to work there as a hand model was because my plain looks didn't attract his attention. But with my sister's stunning beauty, I was afraid she wouldn't be able to escape the boss's creepy advances. Sure enough, the boss asked to meet my sister in person to sign the contract. My sister was very reluctant, but the terms he offered were too tempting. So my parents insisted that I go with her as her representative, to protect her if anything happened. The moment the boss saw my sister, his eyes lit up. He extended his hand to her. My sister glanced at it and said, "Sorry, I'm a serious germaphobe. I don't usually shake hands with people." The boss just smiled. "A beautiful woman with a thing for cleanliness, I get it. Please have a seat." The boss placed the contract in front of my sister. She nudged me with her eyes, telling me to sign for her. I flipped through the contract and showed it to her. When she saw the price was $13 million, her beautiful eyes looked like they were about to pop out of her head. She elbowed me. "Sign it, quickly." After I signed, the boss turned to my sister, his eyes still gleaming with lust. "Ms. Beautiful, I'll send the time and location for the photo shoot to your phone. See you then." After the boss left, I tried to give my sister a friendly warning. "This boss is a total creep. You'd better be careful not to get taken advantage of." She looked at me impatiently. "Just because you're ugly, you see everyone through dirty glasses. Fine, I'll just shut up." It was clear that in this life, just like the last one, they would never see me as family. They only wanted me dead. Why should I bother caring? Whatever happened had nothing to do with me. My sister added, "From now on, you're my unpaid assistant. You have to be available whenever I call. Consider it your way of repaying Mom and Dad for adopting you. You won't have to be on camera, but you still have to be my hand double." I looked at her, almost laughing out loud. "My dear sister, I thought if you accidentally show your real hands, are you going to scare someone to death?" The day of the jewelry photo shoot arrived quickly. The creepy boss wasn't there. Instead, there were a few young photographers and crew members. They seemed nice enough and spoke casually. My sister signaled for me to give each of them a 100 bill as a tip. They all thanked her profusely. My sister said sweetly, "Hi everyone, I accidentally hurt my hand last night. So if we need to shoot any bracelets or rings later, my sister will have to step in for me." Is that even allowed? The crew was clearly speechless. As they were about to object, my sister told me to show them my hands. I obediently held them out, and they were stunned. They couldn't believe that someone as plain as me could have such perfect, delicate hands. "Wow," one of them said. "Those hands are gorgeous. They look like something out of a dream." Hearing that, my sister's face turned green with rage. She plopped down on a nearby sofa. The creepy boss saw my sister sitting alone on the sofa. He bent down, wrapped an arm around her shoulder, and moved his piggy mouth towards her face for a kiss. My sister turned her head, saw his disgusting face, and couldn't hold it in any longer. She pulled her hands out of her pockets. The boss was so scared he nearly lost his mind. He scrambled and rolled away. "Ah, a monster!" he screamed. I knew this day would finally come. My sister's hands were completely exposed. Everyone was terrified. She tried to explain, but she ended up being sent back to the hospital because her hands had now grown so long they were dragging on the floor. My parents rushed to the hospital and looked at my sister on the bed, heartbroken. Suddenly, my mom charged at me, her hands grabbing my neck, her eyes bloodshot. "You wretched thing. Why are you still fine? Why aren't you dead yet? What did you do to Stella?" My dad rushed over too, kicking me hard in the stomach several times. I was kicked so hard I almost coughed up blood. Lying on the hospital bed, my sister shrieked. That loser was wearing the bracelet, wasn't she? How could this still happen? She told my mom to move aside and reached out, her hands tightening around my neck. I couldn't breathe. I mean, she had 16 hands. Maybe heaven didn't want me to leave this world just yet, and decided to give me a chance to live. Just then, the police pushed the door open. They saw the scene and were horrified. They pointed their guns at my sister, telling her to stop. Faced with the police, my sister reluctantly let go. My mom quickly said, "Officer, please don't point your gun at my child. She'll be scared." Seeing Stella let go and lie back on the bed as if exhausted, the police holstered their weapons. They were here to investigate because the creepy boss had been so scared by my sister that he'd lost his mind and been admitted to a psychiatric hospital. My sister briefly explained what happened on the day of the shoot, and the police took her statement. But as they looked from her gorgeous face to her monstrous hands, a look of fear crossed their faces. They managed to maintain their professional composure and not show it. That's all for the statement for now. Please keep your phone on. We may need your cooperation again later. Just as the police were about to leave, I took a deep breath. I leaned down towards my sister and said, "This bracelet is pretty nice, isn't it? Do you like it too? I can get one for you sometime." I had it custom made online for $9.99. My mom couldn't believe it. "You traitor. Where is the bracelet I gave you?" I took out my phone, opened a picture of the octopus I was raising, and showed it to them. "It's on her." My sister went crazy. "You bitch. How dare you set me up?" My parents pointed at me, echoing her, "Officer. This person harmed our precious daughter and turned her into this. You have to arrest her. Put her on death row." I wanted them to taste this pain. Her octopus-like hands were too slick. She lost her grip and one of them swung down, hitting my dad squarely on the head. He collapsed instantly, lying in a pool of blood. Tears welled up in my dad's eyes as he looked at my sister. He clutched his head, in too much pain to speak. My mom knelt beside my dad, screaming at me hysterically, "You bitch. We never should have adopted you. You've ruined our family." And my sister, she knelt before our dad, her hands stroking his head over and over until they were completely covered in blood. Looking at this scene, I smiled. The moment you decided to try and give me that bracelet again, you should have known this would be the outcome. Later, my mom hired someone to kidnap me, intending to kill me and dump my body. Fortunately, I had a plan and managed to save myself. I turned all the evidence over to the police. My mom was locked up with no hope of getting out anytime soon. As for my sister, her hands kept getting longer and longer. When she heard our mom was imprisoned, she completely lost her mind and was committed to a psychiatric hospital by the police. She was under constant watch, but in her crazed state, she ate something poisonous and died after attempts to save her failed. And me? I started a new life. The end.